Hey guys, it's DylanSchuyler with 9 months. Oh my gosh, 3 months away from being a year. Holy crap. Who'da think I would be this far into my journey? um, but yeah, welcome to 9 months. This past month was not as hard with doing the weekly injections. I did have another day where I did it a little bit late, but then I ended up just doing it again on Sunday after that because I was just like, I'm not really gonna keep pushing it a day later and day later. I do apologize if I sound a little congested. I might also be a little fuzzy brained right now. I have been battling a really bad cold all weekend. I've been like dizzy and like full on sinuses, like congested really bad. I had a sore throat as well. I tested to see if I had COVID because I was just like, what's going on? And it was negative, so apparently it's just a really bad head cold. Right now, my ears are doing something really weird where they're like blocked and clogged, so I might be like talking quieter or louder than I normally am. My ears are bothering me though. So this is gonna be kind of like, I'm gonna try to make it quick, but I like to talk a lot. It might be shorter than normal just because like I'm a little bit out of it a little bit at the moment. So I do have like a bunch of notes that I wrote down as well. I'm gonna try to get through them all as well, but I am like pretty tired right now. Um, I just really want to get to like my injection, just hit the hay pretty much at this point. So I'm gonna go through this quickly. I don't want to like miss anything either, so I'm not gonna go through it too fast. But my goal is to kind of make it short at the moment. Hi Luna. So I wanted to kind of touch on why trans people prefer trans people. Um, is because we all understand the journey. We all understand like the discrimination that we all go through. We understand each other, and we don't really need to explain ourselves or our situations to everybody. Um, that's why in the dating community, oftentimes we'll see trans people dating trans people. It's just we all understand each other, and then a lot of times you might even find some couples, both of them end up being trans along the lines, down the road or something at some point. I've met a couple people where they're married and both of them end up coming out as trans, so you'll see in their wedding photos the one who started out as female and then has now transitioned to male no longer looks like that, and so it's kind of like a nice cute little thing where like you see them like before and see how like they kind of were fit into this category of atypical people, and then they kind of come out later on as like these other trans people. And I think it's kind of cute because like I've seen a couple of them actually want to redo their wedding, so then like the one who was originally wearing the wedding dress is now wearing the suit and standing at the end of the aisle, and now letting their partner kind of come down the aisle and now be wearing the wedding dress instead of wearing the suit. So I think that's kind of like a cute little idea. Um, so that's kind of fun. So asexuality. We're going to touch into that super quick. I'm just going to go through my list really fast. I'm not going to be talking about it too much because, yeah, I'm not feeling well. So asexuality. Yes, I am asexual. After all this like long debate, am I asexual? I am asexual. And I think the piece of me that was like, I want to be asexual was the piece of me that's telling me, yes, you are asexual. And so I've kind of like experienced recently being like, okay, so like, why do I like still get sexual like desires and stuff, but I don't really get attracted to people? And as I explained in my previous video, I am demi and I am sapio, which are actually grayscale asexuality. So Grayscale, asexuality is kind of more where I fit into, and also asexual people can have a very high sex drive, so you can experience being horny and not attracted to people, and then also a lot of asexual people find that like genitals are kind of like repulsive, not very attractive. Um, so there's that as well. Um, and so that's kind of like been a little bit of something that I've experienced and like had a little bit more of like questions answered, where I for a while kind of was trying to convince myself that I was attracted to like specific genitalia because I was trying to fit into social norms. Um, so I would be like thinking about um, like a penis or something, and I'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to be attracted to that. So I'd like sit there and convince myself that I'm attracted to it, and then like I also found out that I was bisexual later on. But when it comes to women, I'm a lot more attracted to their like intelligence and like their softness. Um, when it comes to men, it was more just like the physical aspects of like maybe their chest or their body and stuff. Um, as I've kind of drifted away from being in relationships and feeling that I have to be in a relationship and fit into the social norms, I've felt myself kind of like fall away from that. I can still become attracted to people, but like right off the bat, I usually am not anymore. And like I've found a lot of things that I used to find attractive and stuff, just not anymore. So I think I've kind of grown a little bit more into my asexuality instead of like just kind of right off the bat. Um, that's not the same for everyone. A lot of people can go through like puberty and stuff and still be asexual and just find like genitalia gross and just like what you do with it gross, which is totally fine. Mine could possibly be a little bit trauma related, which is not the case for all asexual people. Definitely not at all. That's just kind of like a little bit for me. So I think that's possibly where also me wanting to be asexual came from as well. A little bit trauma related, which again is not possibly normal for asexual people, and it's not defined by this kind of thing. So don't take that as like all people who are asexual have some sort of trauma. It's not the case. They just are not sexually aroused, and they don't experience, or they can get sexually aroused, but also they not all the time either. They just don't experience sexual attractions, which is totally fine. So I bulleted allosexuality. I am not remembering what that was at this moment. I wanted to talk about it, but I can't remember it at the moment. Fuzzy brain thing. Um, so genitals, a fun little thing. Xenogenitals was something I like learned a little bit recently. I thought it was interesting, so I figured I'd put it in here. It's basically where people are not into like regular genitals. It's like abnormal genitalia. So like I don't know, somebody like went and got surgery to make their genitals look like a tentacle or something like alien-esque or something like just not normal. Um, so I thought that was interesting. Could be a little bit repulsive for like the average person to like learn about that a little bit, but it's a thing, and I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to put that in here. Here's a description about it, and I'm also going to put a link in the description down below if you wanted to read about it. Yes, I went to the store again and I got misgendered, so I'm still getting misgendered. It's still a thing that's going on. I just started work up again this last week, and since I was like unemployed for a little while, and I was basically just staying in my house because I am a super introvert. I do not like to go out and interact with the public too much often. Um, I obviously had my friends that I went out and hung out with occasionally, but I was not interacting with the public very often, so hence why I have a cold. My immune system's not used to being out and around people. I am pretty much on the upbring of it now. Yesterday was really bad. I was like super dizzy to the point that I had to like walk around with a cane so I didn't fall over. Making myself food when I wasn't feeling well was not easy. If I had somebody here to help care for me, that would definitely have been very helpful at that point, but I do not, so oh well. um, but yeah, I also wanted to mention, now that I'm back at work, a lot of the men that are at my work do not recognize me as a guy. They still see me as whatever the fuck they see me as. And so I'm still getting misgendered, unfortunately, but happily all the women at my work see me as a guy, so the ladies now are seeing me as a guy, and the men still see me as whatever the heck they see me as. So there's kind of like that weird blur area where it's like, when you're like a teenage boy and you stop looking very young and innocent and you start progressing to looking more like a man, and the ladies start seeing you as, oh wow, you're growing up to be a handsome young man kind of thing. And then all the men are just like, oh yeah, you need to grow up son kind of thing. So that's kind of like around where I am at this point. I wanted to also say that shaving down here is a lot more easier because the skin is stretchier. TMI, possibly. um, so, and then kind of also touching on bottom growth is what we call it as a trans man. The bottom growth that I've been experiencing has made shaving a lot more easier because I'm able to like maneuver the skin around, pull it in directions, and then get into certain areas a lot easier. So I am enjoying that. And then also kind of touching in that as well. The bottom growth isn't just the clitoris, it's also like your labia that's around it. So it's not just one spot, it's everything all at once. So that could be a little weird for you because of the fact that like your clit grows and then it's also the skin around it too. So in some senses it is kind of like an altogether penis kind of thing growing, but you're not getting as much of the length as if you were to have an original, like, born with penis kind of thing. That could potentially change in the future when if you do get surgery kind of thing. It also does make it easier for when the doctors do need to go in and do the surgery for the bottom surgery. That's also what we call it. It makes it easier because then you already got some sort of length and stretchiness kind of going on there. Obviously, it's not quite the same as if you were to be born with male genitalia, but what can you do? And so the bottom growth that you get definitely helps, and this is why they say that they want you on testosterone for 2 years before you get your surgery. Recently, I've heard that some people can get it after a year. I think I probably will wait, honestly, for 2 years just because I want to give it as much time as possible to kind of grow in. I do potentially want to have bottom surgery because I do not enjoy having a vagina too much anymore. It's not as fun. And so I wanted to also kind of talk about the vagina also does get tighter as you get more into getting your bottom growth with your clit, and it becomes closer and closer to looking more and more like a penis. And so what happens with the clit more now is it starts out as your tiny little clit, and then slowly it gets bigger and bigger, and then you get kind of a little bit of what you would imagine a baby dick head would look like, and you can actually see like the kind of outside ring of it. What do they call it? So you have your head of your dick, and that's kind of like what is starting to like come out of it. So when you pull back the skin, so it's sort of like if you were to have foreskin and you pull back your foreskin, then you're able to see your dick head. So it's kind of like that in some senses, but it's small. You can't pee out of it. You don't have a little your pee hole and your ejaculation hole there. It's just the dick head basically. So it's interesting for sure. Directing your pee also is a little bit easier when you're peeing. Peeing while standing up is obviously still a challenge because you don't have your urethra growing with it as well. But it is a little bit easier because the stream can go down on what has happened with your bottom growth. And so directing it can be a little bit easier. If you have had a lot of discharge, that's when it starts becoming like your spray stream of going everywhere. So that's kind of like, whatever. And so I have experienced getting more abs. My stomach is a lot more harder. Someone could definitely punch me in the stomach and I probably wouldn't feel it as much now. So that's nice. I can get punched in the stomach, and I definitely could not get punched in the stomach before. So I've developed some nice abs. They're not defined quite yet, so I'm not going to show off quite yet. But I'm also experiencing a lot more of a masculine, like, body shape, which is nice as well. And so discharge, I was also paying attention to around when I would supposedly get my period. It does happen more during the times that I would have my period. So I do need to change my underwear twice as much when I do experience the discharge and during the time period that would be my period. And that pretty much sums up everything I had on my list. It was super quick. I know I would usually talk your guys' ears off, but I wanted to make it quick just because I'm not feeling well, and I wanted to make a shorter video so everybody can feel like they don't have to sit here and watch a whole hour long as well, because I know not everybody has the time for that. And I am aware of that, and I usually do talk your guys' ears off because I like to put a lot of information in. But yeah, today is just not fully there. And so I guess you guys will be able to stick around for my weekly injection. I'll do kind of like a little short video at some point on just me like doing like weekly injection. Here we go again, guys, kind of thing. But yeah, I had to go to the pharmacy and get some more needles. I actually already had a refill for this guy. Apparently it's supposed to be like a once a month, or yeah, a once a month thing. This thing's supposed to supposedly only last a month, which I thought was interesting because it's supposed to actually last 3 months according to my doctor. So according to the pharmacy, they think it should only last a month. I'm gonna listen to my doctor on that one, so I'm not gonna order it, but I could have ordered another one again recently if I wanted to, but I didn't. But also, a nice part about my voice now becoming deeper, I talk a lot more down in my chest than like up in my nasal, because ladies' voices are a lot more up in your nose than down in your chest. Also, like, feminine guy voices. Well, I guess it's just anybody who wants to kind of sound more feminine. But yeah. And last week when I did my injection, I kind of had like the nerve thing kind of going on in my leg a little bit. So if it keeps occurring, I'm definitely going to talk about that with my doctor, because of the fact that it has now happened like twice, and I don't want it to become like a regular thing, or I'm not even sure if that's supposed to happen actually. So I'm going to just talk about it with my doctor again at some point anyways, when I talk with them again. So I got more syringes, and I got more needles, but I got more of these needles, the pink ones, which are the ones that I don't quite need as much as I feel that. I guess my doctor just kind of gave it to me because of the fact that, like, that's just what I fill it up with, and it's easier to have a bigger needle than a smaller needle to fill it up with. And then the blue one's just for injecting me with, so I don't have to worry about having something that big. Because if I was injecting myself with something this thick, I would not be doing well with that. I mean, I would deal with it if I had to, but if I don't have to, I would prefer not to. Alright, so, on to the leg. I am wearing boxers today, actually, so... And I'm going to try to do my left leg this time, too. Because I've been doing my right leg for so long that I think I should probably switch over to doing the left leg. Why am I bending my legs? I should be relaxing them. Alright, and a Q-tip. And your boy is nice and fresh because I just took a shower, so. Actually, I'm gonna go further down. I'll go right here. Have more fatty tissue. Alrighty. And yes, don't forget to push the liquid back through the top. Not going to be making that mistake again. Alright. Okay. I don't know what it is, but after every time I do this injection, I feel more relaxed, so I guess my body just enjoys me having the testosterone. But my left leg is definitely more sensitive. Oh my goodness. My left leg is definitely more sensitive whenever I do the injection because it was like, yo, what's this? I don't want to be poked, man. But it's giving me blood a lot more faster, so that's good. Alright, let that do its thing. Become all dry and scabbied. Getting that scab. Oh, yes. There was one more thing that I didn't mention earlier. Orgasms. So, orgasms definitely have changed. I haven't done anything this past week, but when I took that note, I had kind of like done my masturbation, did my thing. I definitely am not really into the toys that kind of look more like a dick anymore. They're not appealing to me, which kind of sucks because I have quite a few of them. So that's kind of part of the asexuality that I'm experiencing too. Ace is another word for asexuality too. And so orgasms have changed from being like women get more, or people who have like estrogen in their body, they tend to have like an all over body like orgasm, and it can be like very mind numbing and stuff, which if some people who were assigned female at birth tend to have orgasms, and they're not on testosterone, they can have a harder time to experience orgasms if they don't have the proper partner that can help you experience that, or possibly not even have the right toy for that. It can be very difficult to experience a more like estrogen based orgasm, but when you do get the proper orgasm, you get like an all over, mind numbing, very submissive kind of brain kind of like experience with it. And so the masculine orgasm's just like, ooh, kind of thing, and then you just like hit your peak and then you're satisfied kind of thing. And so I had like kind of a weird combo between the two, and so that was kind of fun. And I also kind of have a little bit more like, so when I orgasm, I used to kind of experience more like clear stuff kind of coming out, and now I get more like white, kind of gooey stuff, more like cum. So it's kind of interesting that like just being on testosterone just makes you to be able to have like the white gooey stuff, and so that could be like the tendency of like just the hormone itself. So I think that's kind of interesting that you don't need to have sperm per se to be able to kind of have that. But when you have your orgasm, you my orgasms are definitely a little bit more masculine now. So I do get like the white stuff, and then I kind of like feel spent after that, and then maybe I can keep going after like 5 minutes, but I definitely need like a little bit of a recharge time. And I do get off a little bit more on like kind of stuff in my butt, TMI, versus before it would just be like just vaginal stuff. So I guess that could also be like prostate stimulation a little bit too. And if I don't really have like the prostate stimulation thing, then I don't really get off as easily, but I can get off without like touching the clit at all. So that's also still kind of fun as well and normal for me because I've never really been able to get off of the clit. So it's just like a different hole, but a different orgasm too. So a little bit of TMI, but fun for you to know if you are debating going on to T, things to kind of know and expect and maybe even experience eventually. Do its thing or whatever. It's fine. It had a scab pretty much almost there. Did it wipe it away? Yeah, I mostly wiped it away. Oh well. But you possibly also have seen, like, now since you saw me with my pants pulled down, my legs look more masculine as well. So that's kind of a little bit there. Like, my body is also more, like, squarer, which the body type of masculine kind of build is more square versus a female build, which is an hourglass kind of thing. So that's kind of nice to just see, like, the difference in, like, when I look in the mirror, minus looking at my chest, it looks very masculine, and like I also have a little bit of that like V kind of forming as well, so that's kind of hot. And I'm still like enjoying all the changes and everything that's happening. I had one of my friends say to me today, he's like, "Oh, so you being on T is making you complain about being like sick and stuff a little bit more?" And I'm just like, nah, dude, if I had my period every month, you'd be hearing me complain way more. So like the experience of like this sickness that I've had for over this weekend, I'll take this like once a year versus having a period every month. Like periods are so fucking dreadful. I hate periods. And if I could get this fucking thing removed from me someday soon or something, I would be so incredibly happy. I still do like the idea of like passing on my bloodline eventually, but again, I don't have sperm, so it really fucking sucks in that sense because again, I still kind of feel like a broken man because I can't make sperm and I don't have balls. So, yeah, that sucks. Born in the wrong body, I guess. But thank you guys for watching my video. It was kind of short. I wasn't able to teach as much because I'm not feeling the best at the moment, but I knew I still needed to film my 9 months. And yeah, so if you guys want to find me on any of my other socials, you want to connect, I linked in the description down below. And give me a thumbs up if you like this and you want to keep seeing more and stuff. Please subscribe. It shows me that you guys want to keep seeing more, and I potentially could like just do this for a living. I like sharing information and giving exposure to my community, and I love you guys all, and thank you for watching. Give me that thumbs up and subscribe, please. Thank you. Bye.